Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. Some very interesting news and good news at that for a change coming to us from Sylvan CIG, who just posted on Spectrum on a thread titled Gen12 Progress and Performance Improvements in 3.17. There's good news in here, but first let's take a look at some of these charts. And now I touched on this in a previous video and I want to go over it with you again just to indicate, just to show you what is happening right now. These were put up on Reddit by Elko Obama. Thank you very much for these. These were awesome. And he's showing the difference between 3.16 and 3.17, the patch currently in PTU. So if we take a look at the first one here, he's showing you the difference in frame rates between free flight, which is considered, I guess, offline mode. You're not in a server with bad ping and lots of people. Basically, just the game engine and you. What is the game doing? So if you go to free flight in 3.16, you get max frame rates of 75. In 3.17, with that resolution there, he's getting max frame rates of 99.4. That is a serious improvement in frame rates. But what about when you're in a server with actual people? So let's take a look right here. Now he is using a 5950X with a 3080 Ti. So this is a beefy rig that is handling the game, or should handle the game pretty well. And he's going to be on the Orison public transport. Now if you ever been to Orison, it's the cloudy gassy planet. Gassy planet. It's the gas planet, the gas giant. And the clouds there basically just kill my frame rates. Very difficult to do anything in that area personally on my rig, but as you can see, even with this powerful rig here, still kind of rough. So let's see what he gets on the Orison public transport with a 3080 Ti. Now if you go to 3.16 and you set the graphics to max, he's getting 32 frames a second. If you're on 3.16 and you set your graphics to low, he's getting 37. Now in 3.17 with max graphics, he's getting 40. And in 3.17 with low graphic settings, he's getting 43. So definite and very visible improvement there. One more chart from Elko Obama before we go read the post. And this is against a performance benchmark in 3.16 versus 3.17 on the server session on Orison, again with people in the server. So right at the bottom there, we're looking at Dublin with 42 people in the server, max frame rates of 27. Horrible. Right now in 3.16 in Australia, it gets a bit better with 30 frames. Let's jump up to 3.17. In 3.17, with 49 people in a server in Dublin, Ireland, he now gets 34. So 27 versus 34, a nice jump. And the Australian server, which is usually the best one because the Australians don't play much, apparently. No, they do. So 3.17 on the Australian server with 25 people will get you 42 frames. In 3.17 versus 30. So that's a big jump. That is a nice big jump in frame rates. To what do we owe this jump? Well, we have a partial explanation right here from Sylvan CIG, who says, hey everyone, it is time for another update on Gen 12 as a lot of exciting things have been happening behind the scenes. That's damn right. I am proud to announce that our first big milestone has been reached with Gen 12 in 3.17. This means all our opaque static geometry, which are brushes and all objects scattered on planets and asteroids, now run through Gen 12, which more than doubles the render thread performance of these objects. Don't get excited yet. Before you freak out, don't hold your breath right now. That means nothing in terms of FPS. So, I know it's confusing, but he'll explain them more in a second. Internal measurements showed us that we are rarely CPU bound by the render thread. Ultimately, this means that faster render thread doesn't change overall frame rate. However, Gen 12 makes it possible to be limited by the render thread. Sorry, Gen 12 makes it impossible to be limited by the render thread again, which means every single bit of performance improvements on the main thread will be seen directly on your frames per second, something which a lot of you have seen in 3.17, which is what I just showed you right there. So good. So here are some more Gen 12 updates. Internally, render proxies like ships, characters, and planets are already going through a Gen 12 pipeline. They didn't make it for 3.17, but will be ready for 3.18, so even more improvements coming. I've heard ships, lots of ships on screens tend to be heavy on the RT. That is correct. So ship meetups and the like might get big benefits. And yeah, there's always a lot of ships on the screen. So especially these big meetings taking place now with sometimes 40, 45 ships in the on one location. I know my PC dies with that, so it looks like we might be getting a lot better frame rates with that. We're about to turn on Gen 12 for cube maps and RTTs as well to let us kill a lot of legacy code, which is important to do. Some stuff still needs to be ported, like the planet atmosphere passes, GPU skinning, and gas cloud rendering. Yes, because RSON is absolutely horrible, which will be started soon. So that is not in yet. That's why we're not seeing big improvements in RSON. Major work on the transparent geometry has been started. This is the last big milestone we have to finish, and I don't expect this to be ready for 3.18, but 3.19. All right, that's a bit of a wait. The worst case estimate will be 3.20. So, yeah, that's too bad. It's going to be a while. But I guess small incremental improvements. Well, not even small incremental. I mean, that's sizable. Those are sizable improvements. So all in all, Gen 12 is looking really promising right now. RT performance is more than twice as good, and we're almost done with everything as explained in the previous post. One more thing, due to the mixed rendering of legacy code and Gen 12, the engine right now has to go through both rendering codes, which actually decreases the main thread performance slightly. Once the transparent geometry is ported, we no longer have to do that, and we will see the full potential of Gen 12. You haven't even seen my final form, says Gen 12. Until then, stay tuned and fly safe, see Universe Sylvan. Awesome. So the improvements we're seeing here is really the tip of the iceberg. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's going to see massive gains and improvements, but what it sounds like to me is once the legacy code is out, these numbers here will only get better. And dare I say, this might start looking like a normal game very, very soon. So yeah, look, 3.17 might not be bringing much, but it's bringing a lot under the hood with these improvements. And I, for one, am wondering if my PC even might be the one that carries me to Squadron 42, because with these improvements, I think I may be able to do it. Let me know your thoughts on these improvements. What do you think? Can your PC handle it? Your comments below always appreciated. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.